How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at unused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Scourge. If you'd like to farm the Scourge for yourself, there's actually two locations that it can drop from. The first being the Broodmother in the Pyre of the Stars, which of course to farm you're going to want to fast travel over to the Pyre of the Stars and run all the way through to the save station at the end of the loop. If you do have the ability to, though, instead of running all the way around, you can actually just rocket jump up this little section, but either way you want to get to this save station. From there you're going to run forward and find this little cave area where the Broodmother can spawn. However, it doesn't spawn all the time, and sometimes there is just a manticore in its place. Because this isn't guaranteed, that's why I prefer the Cistern of Slaughter. During wave 4, multiple Alacritas Vandas will spawn, and these are pretty much just renamed Broodmothers. After you kill them once, if you don't get the drop, you can just fast travel back to the start of the Cistern of Slaughter, which will cancel out the mission but keep you on round 5, allowing you to just farm from there instead of having to do the whole thing over again. But just keep killing these Vandas until you get yourself the Scourge. The Scourge is a legendary Torgue launcher, able to roll in any of the elements and taking 4 ammo per shot. The Scourge shoots out a single central orb in a straight trajectory, which will explode on impact, and while the projectile is in the air, it will continually spawn smaller rockets which will swirl around the central projectile and will home in on nearby enemies. So the Scourge is actually just a pretty decent rocket launcher. It's not great for bossing, however, it does definitely shine in mobbing sections and was able to take on every level of content in the game, working even incredibly well up into True Guardian Takedown. 4 rocket ammo per shot is definitely a very hefty price, but I do think with all the extra rockets that you get, especially if you fire this from a distance, you can definitely get your value from it. With that being said though, I do definitely wish this was a little bit cheaper, but I think I'll talk about that more in a second. Because these extra projectiles that spawn from the main projectile are unlisted, that means that gaining extra projectiles from Plain Dirty, Two Fang, or the Infernal Wish, you are going to be duplicating all of the projectiles that also spawn as well, so you get a lot of value from extra projectiles. But there is something I would recommend not using with the Scourge, and that is Heavy Rain. The faster projectile speed means even if you shoot it just through the sky where it's not going to explode early, it's still having way less time for those mini rockets to home in on an enemy as it passes by. So while you do get splash damage from Heavy Rain, I think it's actually overall a nerf to the Scourge in most cases, because you're just not landing as many rockets as you could be. But now we'll get to the unavoidable comparison to the Plague Bearer, because it kinda has to be done. Like, this is just a direct case of power creep. The Scourge offers literally nothing over the Plague Bearer, and the Plague Bearer is the exact same weapon, aside from having higher damage while also consuming less ammo per shot at only 3. But aside from numbers, these function identically. A lot of power creep in BL3 is a stronger weapon which serves the same purpose as another, but this is the case of the more egregious variety that takes a pre-existing weapon 1-for-1 and just makes it straight up stronger. The only functionality that the Scourge has over the Plague Bearer is that it's available before Mayhem 6, but even then it's realistically only useful as a world drop, since you have to get pretty deep into the game anyways before you actually unlock the farms for it, but at that point you could also just wait until Mayhem mode to get the significantly better version of it. There's really just not much of a point, especially in the endgame, to ever actually get the Scourge over the Plague Bearer. And it is a shame because, like I was saying, it does genuinely hold up into the endgame. It had absolutely no problems on True Guardian Takedown and was actually just doing great. And the thing is, I don't mind this form of power creep, but the method Gearbox went in just makes the Plague Bearer exactly the same but better. So currently the only pull that the Scourge has is that it has a cool stint. But this could have been avoided. The Scourge should just be a cheaper ammo cost. This would incentivize using it over the Plague Bearer for mobbing, while the Plague Bearer's higher damage for a higher cost would have still been good for bossing. Which bossing is currently the weakness of the Scourge anyways. Weapons can have the same functionality while still holding on to separate niches, but unfortunately in their current states, the Plague Bearer is just better for both mobbing and bossing. But at the minimum, all I think that would need to be changed for the Scourge to have a place is for their ammo cost to be swapped. I do honestly think the Scourge could even go down to 2 ammo per shot instead of 4 while leaving the Plague Bearer at 3 or bumping it to 4. But either way, if the Scourge just had the lesser ammo cost of the two, it could have a place as the easier one to use for mobbing. In short though, the Scourge is a very good weapon that is just held back by the fact that it exists in the Plague Bearer but is just better as the Plague Bearer. The Plague Bearer has both higher damage and a cheaper ammo cost, while the Scourge is more expensive to do less, leaving it in the unfortunate state that it's currently in as a wall item at best. But that's gonna about do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all that. Down in the description will be a link to my Twitch channel where you can follow to be notified of when I go live, and just below that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.